Welcome to Prepare to Win. I'm David Lowe, the automotive sales coach with Grace Lapoy, one of our training coaches, and we're excited to have you. Today, we're talking about drive time tips on living and selling with excellence. It's going to be a deep one today. The psychology of buyer commitment. You need to understand how important buyer commitment is to selling with excellence, to getting the buyer to feel comfortable saying, yes, can I drive it home today? All right, let's go.
Okay, David, so we're talking about psychology, right? And how this really goes into understanding our buyer behind this commitment process.
Yeah.
And we also know that we call our whole sales process really it's a psychology class or a course. We talk about how people think and how they are. And especially during this step of really getting their commitment, let's talk about what that looks like.
So you're so right? Selling is psychology, and it's not manipulation.
No.
It's understanding human nature.
Right.
Listen, you have to know your audience and you have to know your buyers.
Right.
How do we help them if we don't understand them? So in some of the last episodes, we talked about, active listening to understand our buyer and using that to help demonstrate our products, right? And so we have to understand our buyer personally, and we can also understand them globally.
Right.
Meaning not the individual, but how most of us think and act.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, we know that almost every buyer everywhere throughout the history of time has always feared making a purchase mistake, right? I don't want to buy the wrong thing. I sure don't want to pay too much. And I don't want to be hassled or pressured or doing it one or two.
Right.
That's basic psychology. It's built into us. Mm-hmm. And I think it's even perpetuated through culture. We also know the psychology of buying means I have to figure out what am I going to buy? I have to figure out where am I going to buy it? When do I want to buy it from? And what do I think a fair price? These are answers that subconsciously I have to answer. So when we talk about psychology, it's really the way people think and act.
Right.
All right. So let's get back to this commitment. The psychology of commitment. By the way, commitment is the big C word right now. Nobody wants to make a commitment on anything, do we, right?
No.
We want to use text to say yes or no to everything. Anyway, so making a commitment is a big deal because of a commitment, right? When somebody makes a commitment, they become really flexible. Mm-hmm. And that's the power of this thing. Right. A committed buyer is flexible. When I decide I'm going to do things, I'm going to put up with a lot to get there. Right. If I decide I'm going to Las Vegas, I wanted this vacation, I'm committed to this vacation. Even if my flight is canceled, I'm going to seek another flight. I'm not turning around and going home. Right. It's commitment that helps me overcome the obstacles and hit my destination. Commitment is so important to the sale. So we're talking about having our buyer make a commitment, and not a commitment to us, but a commitment to themselves. This is the right car, and I'm buying this car today, right? Okay. Now, there's a big thing about commitment in terms of how we ask for this commitment. This is really important, and understanding how we ask will help the buyers see, is this the right product for me, and do I want to take it or not? So let me tell you how powerful this is. And I want to get into some of our technology on gaining commitment. Because listen, the old car thing, pulled hair in the sold road, that's what they called the trial close when I started. It's such garbage. Pull hair, and I did it, and I sold cars. It must be working. I did it for a long time. I was successful. But when you analyze it, does that really build commitment?
No.
Just by saying words sold row, right? That it helps. It doesn't hurt. Don't get me wrong. But couldn't we do a much more powerful trial close than that? Right. Answer, of course, is yes. When we understand human nature, we can do that. So we're going to talk about that formula. I want to talk about commitment in my own life. Everything that I bought, that I made a commitment to, I paid more for it than I thought I was going to pay. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
Anybody else in that, right? Because I think when I decide I want to buy something, I kind of have an idea what I want to pay. Usually when I find what I want, it's more money. In fact, usually is a bad word because always more money. Right? We never want to pay what it takes to buy what we want to buy. And listen, if you're a student, of human nature, of psychology, and of selling, listen to that statement. No one wants to pay what it takes to buy what they want to buy. We just don't. So why do we? Commitment. Once we see the value and desire something, that my life is going to be better with it and suck without it, we make a commitment, right? And once we make a commitment, we're willing to do what it takes to get it. Does that make sense?
Right.
We become, in a sense, flexible, right? So I was buying a coat. In fact, the coat I wear now, I love the coat. So I've had it 10 years probably. So the story is getting dated, I guess. But it was so powerful because it actually mirrors a Seinfeld episode that I saw, right? But let me just tell you my story. Then you might have seen a Seinfeld episode. The same thing happens to Jerry. But I go to get a new leather coat, and I've got motorcycle jackets, but I wanted a dress coat. So I went to the mall by us, and there's a Saks Fifth Avenue there. And so I went to Saks. They have Boss stuff. I like Boss. So I went there and I saw, listen, I'm a minion. You guys can't tell on camera, but I'm tiny, 5'7" maybe, and on a good day. And so I have broader shoulders. And so when I find a jacket that fits my chest and shoulders, it's always too long and I look funny, right? So my hopes of getting something aren't always great because you can't really have a leather nice jacket tailored up, okay? Anyway, so I go there and I look on the rack, this Boss jacket, this beautiful jacket. It was lamb. It was beautiful. I pick it up. This is gorgeous. Of course it won't fit me. They never do. So I picked the size. I thought I'd put it on. Of course it fit my shoulder. I love the fit, but of course it's too long. I looked in the mirror and it was about perfect. Wow, I cannot believe that I found a coat. Now, my wife was with me and she was across the shop there. I'm like, Mary, come on over here. Look at this. I found the jacket. I love this jacket. I'm getting this jacket. And then she asked, guess what question she asked me?
How much?
How much is it? Guess what I said? I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't care.
I hadn't looked at it yet. So she takes the tag from behind my neck and she goes, you're going to want to look. So I take the coat off and I look and I'm like, I ain't buying this jacket. Holy cow. There's no way I'm going to buy this jacket. It's so expensive. So I put it back on the rack and we went down to the mall. I think it was Wilson's or some other leather place. Now, they have very nice jackets. And every jacket I picked up, I was like, this looks like roadkill, Mary. You know what I mean? See, now there was a new benchmark in my mind.
Right.
We'll have future episodes about the power of benchmarking, won't we?
Mhm.
And because this is a powerful force.
Right.
Nothing's good or bad till compared to something else. And so every jacket I looked at was compared to what? That jacket at Saks. So we're looking at them. And then I finally say to Mary, Mary, I had my last jacket 10 years. In other words, when you spread the cost over those years, it's not too much, is it?
Nope.
Now, I'm giving you salesmen a tip that's called value. What am I getting for my money? It's not price, it's value. Now, most salesmen don't do that for you. So I had to come on it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we went back and got the jacket. I paid way more than I thought I'd pay for a jacket. And I love the jacket. I have never regretted buying
That's
it.
what you wanted, right?
Isn't that the truth?
Mhm.
I think when we settle, if we can afford it, we should get what we want. Because when we settle, every time we look at that, if I get the other jacket, every time I put it on, like, I wish I had the other one.
Mhm.
And so
Right.
when we settle, we lose.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying I might, there might have been a stage in my life I couldn't afford that jacket.
Right.
And I would have got committed to a jacket in my range. So it really boils down to affordability. But I could afford it, but I couldn't justify it at first.
Until
I
you
just
did.
couldn't make it. But once I committed, this is my jacket. I'm buying this jacket. I was willing to do it. And there's a Seinfeld episode where he buys a suede jacket and Kramer comes, how much did you pay for it? Jerry won't tell him because it's so much. It's the same thing. And so this is a principle, I think, across the board that when we find what we want, it's always more money.
Mhm.
And for us to do or pay what it takes to get it, we have to be really committed. Doesn't it make sense then, as a salesman, before you sit down and finalize numbers with a buyer, that you gain a buying commitment? So,
Makes sense.
one of the biggest problems that what do salesmen do? Here's our numbers. Would you please buy our car? It's so backwards.
Mhm.
Right? We need to get a buying commitment before what do we know about the numbers? The price is always
Way too high.
way too high, and the trade's always
Way too low.
and the payments are more than he thought they were going to be, right?
We know that.
So listen, I don't want to ask him to buy. I want to first show him payments and price and trade. How is a higher price and higher payments and lower trade going to get them to say yes to something they're not committed to?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense, right? And so now people, I talk to people all the time, bought their first house, whatever. They always say, yeah, we're pre-approved. We want to buy a house for this much. And then they go, well, that one's nicer. We could go up to that. And we all do it. It's nature. Once we decide, okay, so now we get to the art of salesmanship. We talk about the psychology of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
If I know my buyer needs to be committed to pay what it takes to get the car they want, right? I owe it to them to help them commit.
Right.
I owe it to them. If they don't commit, they may not pay what it takes and they leave without the life they came for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't just owe it to myself.
Right.
I owe it to them. So we're using psychology for good. We're using human nature for good. So the psychology of the commitment is, I've already bought it. How am I going to pay for it? Does that make sense? I don't even want to pay that much for it, but I'm going to pay for it. Okay. So in a car deal, we have a thing called the trial close, right? We suggest, no matter what you're selling, that you agree on the product before you finalize the price, meaning it looks like we found the right blank. If we can put together, right? If everything makes sense, is that the one you want to own? It makes sense that we get a commitment on product before we go for commitment on pricing, right?
Right.
And the cool thing about today's internet, most people have been online 16, 20, 30 out, whatever. Before I bought my new exercise bike from NorderTrack, I went online, I looked at all. Right? People have been online, they have information. Right. Price is not a surprise. So price is not a yes or, they may be a reason they don't buy, but it's not certainly a reason that they don't, if they want to buy or not, is really based on the product, not the price. So price is not a surprise. So let's focus on getting a commitment on the product before we get a commitment on it. All right, so the psychology. Buyers have the fears. I don't want to make a buying mistake.
Right.
And the closer they get to buying, the more the fear ramps up.
Right.
Right? So the problem with most salespeople is they're undertrained or untrained. How do you ask somebody to buy without pressure?
Right.
How do you make it comfortable?
Before you do that, we've got to let them close themselves.
That's it.
Right.
Okay. Talk about that. How do we help people close themselves? Right. We got to help them think through their product.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Is this the right product for me? So we really facilitate that. Does that make sense?
Right.
We don't tell them this is the right product for you. You should buy it today. Right. We don't tell them that. We ask them
themselves. Right.
That's
exactly.
Right.
And we know that when selling a car, there's a few key aspects, right? These hot buttons, if you will, we want to touch on. And really that all starts with a conversation.
Yeah.
These questions are designed to create conversation, which once again, if I skipped a step previously, I might not be able to tailor that to them.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So for one example, right, I might say, David, I know you drive a lot for work, right? I know, and hopefully that engine is going to really get up and go for you. Tell me a little bit about how you thought about the performance.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
Get them to have that conversation, because don't we all close ourselves?
That's right.
Right.
So if I say, I really love the power, that's the psychology of commitment. I just said to myself, check, this is the right car. That's the psychology of commitment.
Right.
Commitment drives out fear. Commitment drives out fear. I have made a decision. I no longer fear buying the wrong product. Now let's talk about price. Right? We've already started talking some things about negotiating, closing. We're going to talk a lot about that over these episodes because it's a big thing, and we have a lot of different angles to bring. So in our dealership Playbook, Automotive Sales Coaches online selling training portal has pretty much everything in it. And of course, a lot of it has to do with helping buyers commit and feel comfortable and negotiate. We have a lot of that stuff. So we really teach that, you know what, let's slow down and earn the right to ask people to buy. Isn't that character integrity a big deal?
Right.
We go all the way back to episode 1. How do I have a healthy pride if I don't sell with character integrity or don't live with, and if I don't have a healthy pride, how do I have joy, peace, and satisfaction? I don't know how it works.
They all go together.
So a lot of trainers are out there training their tricks. And you know what? During COVID, a lot of these trainers rose up. Everybody was buying cars, and everybody thought they were better than they were selling them. Everybody made more money. Like one day we couldn't hold gross, and the next day we could, and somehow we got better without training, without changing what we do, right? So everybody gave ourselves. Did we do that? Be honest with yourself. Give ourselves more credit than we deserve during this when the market. Supplies went, demand went up,
Right.
profits, of course, went up. Dealerships, salespeople, managers all made money, not because we were better, because there was less products. Let's just admit it.
Right.
And that didn't last a long couple of years, and now it's going back. And so, if we want to be a master sales professional, we have to do more than ride the market wave. We've got to, right, focus on what we do and how well we do it.
Right.
Our knowledge and our skills and our actions, right? That's everything. Okay, so we're going to this commitment stage, asking for the trial close. We want to do it in a way that builds, that feeds off our integrity and character. I really want to earn. Before I say grace, sounds like we have the right car. If we work out the details, are you wanting to drive it home today? Before I ask you to buy it, I want to make sure it's the right car.
Right. You
I
gotta
don't
earn
want
the
you.
right.
I got to earn the right. And I got to be honest with you. I don't want you to buy one car from me. I want you to buy every car from me. I don't want you to wake up. So some people just close. It doesn't matter. And maybe you just want the quick sale and you don't care about anything else. This podcast probably isn't for those people because it's not really. Although they can use our techniques and sell cars and make more money. You will definitely make more money doing this stuff. But that's not what we're about. We're definitely about doing it so well that you're a benefit to other people and you're a benefit to your healthy pride, right? So we really want to slow down before we move into finalizing numbers and make sure we have the right car. And once again, we go back to asking good questions, actively listening, affirming, and moving on. What if I could get the buyer to do his own checklist in his own mind? So subconsciously, we teach in a dealership playbook, we teach the things that we know subconsciously through millions of dollars of research from one of the big manufacturers. What happens during a test drive subconsciously, what decisions are being made. So all we did was take those subconscious decisions being made and pull them to the conscious mind, didn't we?
Right.
So what if I asked them, hey, it's like you said, what do you think about the performance? I got that pulled out of the back of their mind to where? The front, right? And they made a check mark consciously. I really like the way this drives. That's the psychology of the close, right? And so that's doing it really well. What do you think of performance, right? That's well. If we want to do it like a master, we'll do it like you did it. We'll customize it. So Grace, let's talk about the car real quick. One of the biggest things was you put on a lot of miles as a sales rep. You're on the road a lot, the highway a lot. You've got the radar detector in your car, so you drive fast. Now, we did want the better gas mileage that this turbo gets us, right? And that's great. That's going to save us money. It's really about performance for you, though, right? What did you think about the performance of the? Okay, so I just gave you a little insight to what it looks like to personalize the commitment. I've told a story that takes the buyer into their life to consider, how am I going to feel driving this on the road on the way to work? So when they say, I really like it, that commitment, who cares if they made a commitment to you? They can break a commitment they make to you. But they make a commitment to themselves.
That's everything.
It's over. All right. So the psychology of commitment is this. Once the buyer decides I'm buying this product, the buyer will find a way to justify paying more. I did for my leather jacket. I bet you every one of you have done it before, so you know it's true. So why not develop the skill set to help your buyer go through that? Because I'm going to just tell you right now, they're not going to buy what they want for what they want to pay, period. That's just the way it is, right? Nothing costs what I want it to cost. Everything's more. So our job is not to lower the price. I'd like to buy a steak at Ruth Chris, and I'd like to pay $10. The job is not to get the steak down to $10. The job is get the value and commitment to eating there up to whatever it takes to eat there. So when we do this, this commitment, people don't want to spend what they need to spend to get what they want. Your job is to facilitate that. Your whole job is make them feel comfortable, isn't it?
Right.
If I can make them feel comfortable, why wouldn't they?
Hmm.
Then when I put the numbers down, we can work together to figure out a way to make it work.
Right.
But it starts with what? Commitment. Commitment builds flexibility. Commitment closes car deals. Commitment creates excited, loyal lifetime customers. And commitment will give you a healthy pride.
Absolutely. All right, David. Well, that really sums up today's episode,
That's
right?
right.
Talking about that commitment to the product and really making sure we use the psychology to get us there, right?
That's right.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Really appreciate you guys. And again, our goal is to help serve you guys live and sell better or with excellence, right? So hopefully we've been a benefit to you. Please like, follow, subscribe wherever you get yours. David?
Yeah, we really appreciate your time. We know how valuable time is. Thank you for making the commitment to join us, right? We hope you continue to make that commitment. I'm going to give you a last challenge. What things in your life haven't you committed to? Because if you commit to it, you'll find a way to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people out there say, I wish I was in better shape, but they haven't committed to any type of program, whether it be diet or exercise to get there.
Right.
A lot of people want things, but they don't get them because they need to start with what? A commitment says, I'm willing to do what it takes to get what I want to get.
Right.
That's the psychology of commitment. And that commitment gives you the strength and the power to overcome obstacles and
Mhm.
achieve your result. So, getting a commitment, we talked about it today with our buyers, how to comfortably guide them, the importance of it. I want to leave you with this. It's everything in your life. What you commit to, you can succeed at. So, whatever you want, make a commitment and live and work with excellence. Thanks for joining us.